This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning and welcome to Eco Training Pridelands. I hope everybody had a good night's rest and is ready for a day full of action. Ours started pretty well, and we've already located on 5 of the Breakaway members from the Djuma Pride. Seems like 2 adults and a number of sub-adults that we have in this group. So my name is JP LaRue, and behind the cameras we've got Davy. I just think we must get that camera back on. They're busy yawning. Unfortunately, we'll stop now. I just love it when lions are yawning and they show a full display of teeth. And quite often when they do start yawning, it will indicate that they will very soon start moving. Let's see what they're going to get up to. So if you would like to join us, you are more than welcome to join us on the webpage. You are also welcome to ask us a number of questions. And if you're under the age of 18, you're also welcome to send us questions via kidsquestions@wildearth.tv. A few days ago, I found these lions on very much the same spot as where we did this morning. But by the time that we got back, it already started raining and we lost the tracks. We then started working the blocks, and we were looking for their tracks coming out of the blocks and trying to see where they went. Unfortunately, we could not relocate on them. However, very late that evening, just before I left, I actually did find some tracks, fresh tracks that was made just after the rain that evening, as we had a pretty big rainstorm that came through. I followed the tracks for a short while, and it probably barely moved 50 meters from where we found them that morning. However, several vehicles were actually trying to locate on them. And this morning, I was saying to myself, I don't hope this is going to be a repetition of a previous attempt in finding them. But I'm so happy that we did manage to actually locate on them and that they didn't move. Although there's always fun and a little bit of a challenge into it to actually track them down. It just makes things so much more interesting. Quite often, if we do find lions in the early part of the morning, there is a good chance, if it's still cool and overcast, that they are going to move. However, if it's a warm morning, they are very likely going to still be resting up there for the remainder of the day. You'll notice at the moment that there's a lot of grooming taking place between individuals. And this is basically licking one another into the hard-to-reach areas. And that is quite interesting in terms of grooming one another. It always helps to reduce social tension in a group and also build friendly relationships between group members. So, and good morning, Tegan, and welcome to the show. And thank you very much for that compliment. And I hope that you enjoy the remainder of the show and that it might be as action-packed as it is already. We're going to watch our lions for a little bit longer. Let's go and see what the weather is up to.
Good morning, everybody. How epic is this? Literally driving along the road and Kat just said, watch out. This beast is just lying right on the road in front of us. Too good. So someone's trying to call me on the radio. Morning, everybody. My name's Jonty. We've got Kat on the radio. It's so good to be back. How epic is this? So we literally got here like a couple seconds before we came live. Something's catching his attention. You can see how he's focused off on that side of the road. His ears are forward, so I'm presuming he can hear something. But we were just chatting now, saying it's still so thick. I'm glad he's on the road. If he goes off of the road, he's going to disappear. So we're really lucky that he's lying right on the road. Yeah, Lee, you 100% correct. What a bit of luck there. To just find this male leopard lying right on the road. It's definitely not a bad way to start the day. I'm just going to call this in on the radio, just so everyone knows what's going on. The stations is a male leopard stationary on Sandy Patch Road, just north of the junction with Via Tele Access. It might be, we might get lucky and be able to spend a bit of time with this leopard this morning. The weather's pretty good. It's overcast and cloudy. It's not hot at all. So we might get lucky if we stick around here long enough. We'll get to see him potentially do something. So I don't know if my daughter's watching, a little Amelia, but last night when I spoke to her when she went to bed, I said, "What must I look for?" And she said, "Leopard." So Amelia, if you're watching, my little angel, there's a leopard. Sorry, this thing is... What was that comment?
Giraffe call. Boy.
Thanks, Giraffe Girl. Sorry, my earpiece was just freaking out there. I didn't copy that. Yeah, I must say, for me, the last time I was here, I really wanted to find him. And we didn't. He stayed off of the property. It is so cool to see him again. You know, sort of carving out a place at this next stage of his life. For me, it was very cool to see him as a little cub. And I'm very fortunate to watch or have seen his sort of path into a sort of dominant male leopard. It'll be interesting to see where he finally sets up a sort of proper territory. It seems like it's more north from here. But he's a very beautiful cat. Okay, well, we're going to stay with him. We're going to head to Tessa. That's cool.
So it seems that we are having some very, very ridiculous luck this morning. I found myself under the bark spider, and it was over the middle of the road. Now it's climbed up into a buffalo thorn on the side of the road. And I can't believe it. Jonty was talking to me this morning saying, I hope I found Tavangumi. And I said to him, I don't know. He's been around, but in other properties, I don't think he's been back here in a while. And voila, that is how we start our morning. It seems like we're on a roll already, everybody. My name is Tessa. Good morning, everyone. Behind the camera is BK, and we have got some pretty big plans too. After we look at our bark spider and the web, which is actually built across the road at this point, we are actually headed towards Drakensberg Road and the junction with Blink, because we've heard rumors of a female leopard, possibly Tandy. We're not 100% sure yet, but we will let you know when we get there. And I'm very excited to do that. BK is going to have to duck really well underneath the spider web when I'm driving. So the good news for a bark spider is that it's off to the side, which is where it normally is during the day. You actually can't see it anymore. It's gone so deep into the buffalo thorn. And they build these webs over the roads, especially and between very tall trees, a few meters apart at night. And so it's used to catch things like moths and other insects that are flying through. And then during the day, they actually can deconstruct their own web and will build it again the next night. If they can go back to a solid web, I'm sure they would. But the good news is that it is daylight, and so I'm sure the bark spider, having moved off, is going to stay on the tree for the rest of the day, camouflaging as a bark spider. And then we'll come back out and build this beautiful creation all over again. I'm going to try my best to go underneath it. I can see there's just one strand that's joining to the ground here. So I'm going to try and go around through there. Megan Edwards, good morning. And I'm sure the bark spider says good morning too, although it was very shy. Very shy this morning. As soon as we got here, it just started going straight up the side and disappeared into the buffalo thorn. So it's going to be very interesting watching us going through the spider web, but I am going to keep going because I want to get to that female leopard as soon as we can. Because it's the area of Drakensberg, I initially thought Kalamba. There we go, it's gone over our heads. But it sounds like so far south, possibly Tandy.
It is true that most NFTs are on the Ethereum blockchain, and vast amounts of computers are using massive amounts of energy to keep Ethereum running.
By minting our NFTs on Polygon, it allows us to use the least possible amount of energy while still creating real incentives for our custodians to conserve the environments and habitats of these animals.
Conservation really is conserving habitat. It needs to be saved in its context, and this context is the landscape it lived in.
How important are the surrounding communities to conserve in Djuma?
Crucial. Conservation doesn't happen in a vacuum. If surrounding communities do not see the value, how could you expect them to buy into the idea of conserving? To have NFTs generate ongoing income is just remarkable.
40% of the first sale and 8% of every resale is routed back to the habitat custodian.
Once 40% of that sale lands in the bank, it's very real.
Wildlife trafficking remains a growing problem in South Africa, and often made worse by the way the media portray this complex issue. WESA, the Wildlife and Environment Society of South Africa, in partnership with WWF South Africa and supported by USAID, have recently embarked on a program whereby they train reporters to better tell stories of wildlife trafficking.
In my community, wildlife conservation is mostly something other people do, and I would like to change that. My name is Iman Singli. I told people I met that the pangolin is one of the most trafficked animals on the planet. But what is a pangolin, they said? Why is it in danger? This is what made me decide that the pangolin story must be told. If we are to play a part in preventing the extinction of this animal, then we must all be part of the battle.
A partnership between WWF South Africa and WESA, supported by USAID.
So there we go, look. All three in one frame. Look at that, isn't that cool? Oh, that is so special. That is exactly what we had been hoping for, is all three of them to come together and make the perfect little family portrait.
Welcome back to Eco Training Pride. We still have our lions, and at the moment you will see them getting up every now and then, yawning so that they can get oxygen into their muscles and then start moving off little short distances. It's possible that the group is going to walk very soon, so let's hope that they're going to stay for a little bit longer and that we can keep up with them. It was going to be pretty tricky to follow them through this terrain. One of the things that you'll notice is that they often rub their faces against one another when they do move towards one another. We also see that they will often rub their faces onto objects, and that's a way of marking things. There's a few things that I do find very interesting about their coloration pattern. As you can see, the grasses are already turning yellow, and this is a very effective way for them to blend in with that yellow coloration of the grass. However, in the beginning of the year, when it's starting with the rainfall season and there's a lot of bright green grasses, they do stand out a little bit against the green grasses. But then also there's sufficient cover in terms of plant material to hide themselves. But at that specific time of the year, there's a lot of young and inexperienced animals around, which makes hunting fairly easy for them. However, when it does come to winter, you really need to use this tawny coloration of your coat and your advantage to blend in with your environment. I also find it particularly fascinating how lions can sometimes disappear in grass that's not even knee-high, but simply just lying flat down. Every now and then you also will see those little black markings behind the ears as if they are moving, and these also actually act as visual communication cues between individuals when they are hunting, as well as moving, and between cubs and mothers when they are following through the grass. And you can think about how effective that comes into play when it does become yellow in color with the grass. You'll also notice that the tail tip also has a black little tip to it that also most likely is acting as a following mechanism. One of the things I do find particularly fascinating about the tail, and I don't know if a lot of people ever have the opportunity to, but in the Kalahari a few times we were fortunate actually being involved with lion capture. And if you actually do feel the tip of a tail, there's a tiny little spur at the back end of that tail. And still until today, nobody really knows what the function is of that little spur. Some of the other things that we did find particularly interesting on the lion capture was actually the tongue. And you often will, when you are working with lions, you'll wear gloves, and if you feel the tongue still through those gloves, you'll still feel that it's got like a sandpaper texture to it. And that sandpaper texture, the tongue actually assists with actually removing fur from the area where they want to start feeding, as well as when they are grooming, and then lastly to remove meat from the bone as well. Microlight that's coming over. We often hear airplanes as well as microlights when we are on sightings, and these are all anti-poaching vehicles that will observe for any potential intrusions. Final control, I'm just going to ask you to quickly repeat that question because of the microlight that's creating a disturbance. I didn't hear the question clearly. Morning, Lulu, and Lulu is 10 years old, and Lulu would like to know if a lion is smaller than a tiger. And when it comes to the answer, Lulu, yes, they're considerably smaller. So if we look at lion, the females are in the vicinity of anywhere between 120 to 170 kilograms for a big female. But a big male has a potential of weighing some 240 kilograms in weight. That's also already exceptionally big male. But when it comes to tigers, they can weigh in at approximately 360 kilograms in weight. And Well, if you ever wondered what the smallest carnivore is in Africa, that's actually our little dwarf mongoose, which we found the other day. If you wondered what the biggest carnivore in Africa is, yes, it's lion. And if you wondered what is the biggest carnivore on the planet, it's one of my dream list animals, and that's a polar bear. They apparently weigh in the vicinity of some 450 and more kilograms in weight. We're going to spend a little bit more time with our lions and see where they get up. And then meanwhile, let's go and see if Jonty can relocate on his leopard.
Okay, so we had this male leopard right next to us, lying like a legend. And now it looked like he saw something on the road, and then he got up and has walked sort of the direction he came from. And now he's gone off-piste. So we're going to try and stay with him. It's obviously very difficult at the moment. But let's see if Rusty remembers how to go off-road. What's really awesome, through the clouds, the sun's now coming out. And there's this fantastic light starting to appear. So I'm hoping he's going to walk into that. I'm just going to stop here. You can see him there walking towards this big knobthorn tree. Look at the light on that tree. We were just chatting about what he looks like. He looks like he is quite lean, so I think he could potentially be looking for a bit of food. You can just hear some of the rattling testiculars shouting. It's one of my favorite things to just see a leopard walking with that white tail up. Yo. So obviously I'm quite aware there has been a lot of rain, so I'm just checking where we're driving. Make sure, whoa, there's a big hole. Make sure we don't go anywhere where it's still too wet. Peter coming for Jonty. So there's another vehicle trying to join us. I'm just trying to let them know what he's up to. Peter, the small leopard's now mobile west through the block. You should see my tracks where I leave Sandy Patch Road. But we're in the block of land now, heading west. Thanks, Anna Marie. It's so good to be back. Let's try to go around. He's gone into a bit of a thickest thicket. It's always amazing to see these leopards walk through these blocks, because there's like big prominent game paths. I see he's just stopped there. I think he can still see something that crossed the road. Look at how he's quite focused in that direction. That's where the direction towards where we saw him looking. This beautiful cat. I'm just going to loop. That's amazing. I'm just going to loop around. whenever they're walking like this, you always want to be quite mindful of not staying too close to them. Obviously, you don't want to interfere with them hunting. And like we were saying, he does look like he's a bit thin. You could potentially want to eat something. So we're coming to a road now. This is Vuyatela access, which is what we're approaching now. He's still looking that way. When we came through there, we did see some Impala in that area. It's amazing. Did you see the way he crossed the road there? They're so secretive. Thanks, Angel. Thanks for joining us for a bit. Yeah, what a radical morning to start like this with. I can hear some elephants in front of us. Peter, just update, this male leopard's now crossed Vuyatela access. He's still heading west. I'm going to stay with him in the block. I could hear some elephants up ahead of us, just that sort of rumble. What's difficult now, we can't sort of give this leopard too much of a head start, otherwise we're going to be lost.
WildEarth is offering you a chance to win unique, never-before-seen t-shirts whilst playing an animal ID game on our new Discord channel. Sign up for free and click on Games to find the animal ID game. Every time an animal is posted by a mod, you guess the species and in some cases, the individual animal's name. The fastest correct answer will be put into a draw to win a t-shirt that cannot be bought anywhere. Prizes will be awarded every single day. Head over to our Discord channel now and join the animal ID fun.
It's the most amazing experience. It's epic to feel the wind in your face, see the animals in their natural environment. My favorite part about today is meeting the wonderful WildEarth team.
Afternoon, Pogs. Welcome.
Hi, Jonty. Lovely to meet you.
Please jump into Wendy.
Thank you.
To be able to actually travel on the roads, to feel firsthand what it's like, it was amazing. My mud wallow today was something totally different and beyond my wildest dreams. The reason I got a ticket to Dream was courtesy of my mum, that being my special birthday, 60th birthday, and how much WildEarth has meant to me during quite a hard last year. It's just been the most amazing gift.
Guys, just watch what's happening. See, watch the elephants, watch the lions. See, the first ones to run are the cubs. Can you see them? They are right here. I'm not sure how scared you were, but I was quite nervous. But absolutely incredible.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
Funniest question I've been asked. There have been so many. You can almost do a little anecdote book just on guest questions. Sort of been asked, do you know which trees do elephants roost in? That's a tough question to answer with a straight face. Someone asked me if a windsock was for feeding giraffes. Welcome back, everybody. So we We're just watching the grass move currently. So he's going to come out here. Do you see where this grass is moving? So this male leopard is slowly moving towards us. And what's flippin' epic, there's a herd of Impala behind us, maybe 30 meters away. And that's what he's sort of got his attention. We're trying to figure out what made him. Okay, there's an elephant trumpeting. But look at this, how he's walking through the grass. So I might have to chat on the radio. There's another vehicle trying to join us here. Peter coming forward, Jonty.
Jonty.
What's your position now?
I've just gone, I'm on Vitella, actually just gone past the sunny patch tunnels. I'm just checking for your tracks where you crossed.
Okay, copy. I've got your audio. If you head west from where you are now, you should get me. I'll just guide you in. He's currently about 50 or 60 meters off a herd of Impala. He's showing interest. You can see how he's focused.
Tell your land driver, I've got your tracks, yeah, I'll see you now.
Copied. You can see, look at that. Zachet's doing, zooming out like that. Look how easy it would be to miss this leopard here, even that we know he's there. If you glance your eyes over, you miss them. It's incredible how their camouflage works so well in breaking up their outline. I definitely think this is where I'm going to spend my whole morning. We've got we saw him, we saw that he was looking hungry, he's looking a little bit lean. And now he's in this perfect sort of spot. So we're going to sit here while we sit and wait. You're going to head over to Tess and see what she's cooking up.
It's a leopard's kind of morning, everybody. Have a look at the beautiful princess. Isn't she stunning this morning? There were actually also some Impalas here, so it seems like Tavangumi and Tandy are on the same wavelength this morning. Perfect weather for hunting. Oh, where are you going, girl? But unfortunately, Tandy chased them off. She didn't manage to get close enough before they spotted her. She has been moving quite a bit, so we're going to have to try and keep up with her. I'm very happy that she gave us the glance on the log, though. You just see the grass moving, that's how long it is. I'm just checking. Okay, we're going to try and reposition. She is giving us the good old Tandy slip, as she does. Very cheeky girl. No, I do love her. It's very good to see her again. I was wondering when we were going to have a little glimpse of Tandy. We haven't seen her or Marips in a while. But goodness gracious, to find her in this grass, everybody. I see why Jonty was trying to get a view of Tranquil. I don't know where she's gone. Definitely don't want to drive over Miss Tandy. Don't worry, I won't. I think she's gone through. The Tandy slip, she does it in good old proper Tandy fashion. Aha, there we go. She's back to the road. Thank you, BK. It's nice when your cam up is higher up thingy, you know? Hey, big girl. There she goes. Bye, Dion. Alright, let's see if we can get to follow her a little bit. She looks like she's going straight towards Chitwa and Chittakatlan. I wonder if she's going to give us the slip again. Marlene, it's brilliant to see spots so early in the morning, don't you think? We haven't seen leopards in a while, and now it's so good to see Tavangumi and Tandy within the first half hour of the first morning. I think Jonty and BK are good luck. I definitely think they're good luck. Yeah, she's going back south again. Disappearing in style, everybody. That's what Tandy does. So I'm going to try and follow her for as long as I can. She is looking like she needs a meal. Sounds like very similar to Tavangumi. Both of them are looking a bit lean. And that's okay. They are very successful. But I can tell you it's quite refreshing to see her without Marips. The last few times I've seen her, Marips has been stuck to her side. Oh yes, she's definitely starting to look for some more food. Unfortunately, she chased those impalas. As she was moving through the grass, she put her head up to look over that log that we had her on just now, and they saw her. I love how elegantly she walks. It is very interesting that Tandy is in Djuma again, considering all the female leopard dynamics we've had going on recently. I think it's a lovely surprise to have her back. I'm going to try and follow her as long as I can, though, in her search for food. And we'll head over to Jonty to see what Tavangumi's up to in his search for food.
Thanks, Tess. He's still staring in the direction of where we saw that herd of impala. I actually can't see the impala anymore, but he is not moved since he stopped there. It's pretty cool what Gert's doing to show you, like, staying focused on him through the grass. Now he's lying down. Oh, he's moving around. Yeah, he's leopard crawling away there now. It's lucky that the grass is so tall. You can just see where the grass is moving, where he's moving. Hopefully he's going to do a loop around the front of the car. It's so difficult this time of year because if you give him too much of a gap where you can't see him, you will lose him completely. So we've got to tread that fine line of staying close enough so we can watch what he's doing, but also not to interfere. I presume it's too far away, but there's elephants trumpeting in the distance. I'm just going to reposition the car. I'm pretty sure, is that him there? Yeah. Rolling Rob. Tavangumi means basically Klipspringer mountain. There's a place where he was a young cub when he first started spending time away from his mom. There's a place on Singita called Tavangumi Koppies, which is a little rocky outcrop. And that's where he spent a lot of time. And that's kind of where he first started scent marking, actually. So that's where he got his name from. So it looked like he was walking in here. Tavangumi, hello. Yeah, see. Now we're looking sharp. We've got another vehicle with us, Peter. If he's laid down there, then we're going to drive right past him. We need to almost go in here. Did you see him come past that gap?
Yeah.
Do you dream of traveling to a far-flung wilderness location where life continues as normal? A place where you can escape to nature and breathe. If you become a WildEarth explorer, then this could soon become a reality. Subscribe today and stand a chance to win regular travel prizes. WildEarth Explorers, it's in your nature.
Stanley is such an awesome African penguin, and personally, my favorite. I love Stanley because of that amazing plumage variation, that beautiful broad black breastband with the cutest little white heart directly in the middle. And Stanley plays hard to get, but we are so happy to have him down here at Stony Point and can't wait to share Stanley's life with you.
Guys, have a look at what we've got. This is better than my birthday. Look at that. This is the first time that I ever see cubs this small. This is so special. This has officially just become my best sighting of all times.
Tune into WildEarth every single day. It's in your nature.
Hi, I'm Mike Anderson, and I come to you live every day from Eco Training Pridelands Conservancy in South Africa. The wild animal I think is most underrated. I think buffaloes are the most underrated. They're so tenacious and ferocious, and also very, very protective of each other, which I find incredible. You know, sometimes people think of the big five, they just think of lions and leopards and other big animals, but I think buffaloes are pretty underrated.
Catch up with the guides daily here on WildEarth.
My name is David, and I love being a cam op because you get a front row seat to all the best sightings that WildEarth has to offer. Sharing it with everyone else, well, that's a perk too. What makes the WildEarth experience magical? Well, it has to be the fact that it's live and interactive. The sighting that'll be ingrained in my brain for life, watching a lioness kill 3 wildebeest during the migration in the space of about 20 minutes. My spirit animal, that has to be a monkey.
Tandy slip. Aha, in front of us there on the right. Hello, sweet girl. We're actually very, very close to Cheetah Cutline now. Cheetah Cutline's just in front of us, and I think she's heading that way in the hopes of finding some more food. I see her tail is quite alert at this point. The birds have seen her, so there's a lot of alarm calling around us, and so she's lost that element of surprise. As much as she keeps giving us the Tandy slip in terms of the animals, she's lost her element of surprise. So she's trying to stick to the brush as much as she can because she's walked through so many open areas, and as she's walked through each, the birds have just started going on all sides. We're kind of letting her move a distance and then we follow around again, just to see where she is headed. I'm wondering if she's here. I don't think my roots would be too far away, but I could be wrong. That is long grass. Oh, there she goes there. Stuck in bed? Yes, she does. She vanishes. Oh, I can hear Impala's alarm calling. That's why she's so alert. But yes, the Tandy slip is very aptly named.
3. Got that,
I wonder where she's going to go from here. I just got to fly up my nose, everybody. Okay, she is moving through the thickets again. So she's doing one of those kind of very slow walks where she's walking a few steps and stopping. She's definitely in a hunting mood, so I don't want to follow her directly behind at the moment. I'm going to keep a bit of a distance. We'll keep an eye on her as she's moving. Just because if I'm constantly driving behind her, then animals are going to be looking this way, so I'd rather give her some distance so she's got enough space to move and hunt with us just sitting and watching from a distance rather. Now she is moving very slowly. She's paused for a bit. It looks like there's a dead tree. I'm not sure what she's seeing now. I can't see through to the other side of the thicket. Dr. Rocky, leopards are adapted to a solitary lifestyle. It's a combination of their size, their speed, and other physical attributes like that, but as well as the camouflage. They've got a lot more camouflage than lions do, a lot more extensive camouflage. And the reason they'd be hunting alone is because you can imagine for Tandy, if she's got herself, Maribs, maybe Kuchava, you know, Tlalamba, all of these leopards, if they were in a pride or a family, it would be much harder for them to, one, catch enough food for everybody at the same time. Because of a leopard's size, they go for smaller prey than lions. And two, it would be harder for them to sneak up on animals because of the increased amount of movement. So they've specialized or adapted to hunting on their own. They'll hunt something fairly big, something as big as a kudu, if you're very, very lucky, as a big male leopard. And by hunting alone, you've got a much quieter approach. You can very safely and very easily hide the kill on your own without drawing too much attention once you've made the kill. And three, you've got more food for yourself that lasts longer. So it's just more energy efficient for leopards because they're smaller to be hunting on their own. If you compare that to lions, say the Talamatis, much bigger body size, so they've got to hunt together just to get enough food because they're slower than leopards, they're bigger than leopards, and so they need a lot more food and they need to get a lot closer. And so it helps if you've got an extra bit of manpower, which Tandy doesn't need. She is the perfect killing machine all on her own. She's fast enough, she's small enough, but she's strong enough and agile enough. And definitely well camouflaged. Okay, she seems to be sitting still for quite a while. I'm going to try and go around on this side. I actually going to be driving away from her and then back around so that I'm not driving straight in the direction where she is, because that wouldn't be the best idea. It wouldn't be the most sensitive thing to do. It is honestly so lovely to see Miss Tandy. I don't think I've seen her. I don't think I've seen her without my reefs in... I think the last time I saw her on her own actually was in September. And then I also saw my reefs on his own. So I've not been lucky enough to see her on her own very much. Alright. She is moving again. Let's try and keep up. Barry, you love leopards and you're 9 years old. I am very excited to hear that. My love of leopards started at around probably 8 years old, so very, very similar. And that makes me quite happy because I think the more you love them, the more aware you'll be of everything that's happening around us in the world in terms of nature. And I think that's a wonderful thing to have. Very happy things to come, very happy things to come. Alright, she is coming to us slowly from the right. So I'm just going to check and see what she's doing before we reposition again.
When on safari, there's nothing better than an evening spent under the stars chatting around a fire, with the sounds of the wild all around you. If you sign up to be a WildEarth explorer, you can build your own memories by joining our guides for regular fireside chats. Subscription payments can be made by PayPal, credit card, and now bank transfer. WildEarth Explorers, it's in your nature.
I was so excited to come across DJ, or Demi James, Demi meaning half, and that refers to DJ's incomplete upper breastband. And what is so cool is that DJ has been building a nest, and we have also seen DJ hanging out with the partner. I cannot wait to see how the breeding season goes and bring you all the action from Penguin Beach.
This warthog is in big trouble. He's got elephants all around. What are you gonna do there, big guy? What are you gonna do? Oh, he's pretty brave though. Oh man, he's not even moving. Look, that elephant is trying his best, but that warthog ain't budging. That's madness. That's so funny. And we have a winner. The warthog wins the standoff.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
My name is Lauren, and I'm currently working in Djuma Private Game Reserve here in South Africa. I love answering your questions during the live safaris. It's my favorite part. It feels like you're on the vehicle with me, and I'm able to teach you exactly what you want to know. If you want to ask a question on WildEarth, then you need to register on our website. Once registered, you must go to the live safari page and ask your question below the live feed.
The bushwalk feed allows the camera person some creative license. This is my favorite style of shooting. You have to be mentally and physically prepared. You're shooting handheld in some very strange and contorted positions, always with a straight back, often in the squat position, low to the ground. The creativity comes down to the relationship and sync you have with your presenter. The more you understand each other, the more you'll be able to tell the story seamlessly.
The Queen is very intent on something here this morning. We can't see what she's looking at, but she has not moved from this position in about 2 minutes. She's almost dead still other than her ears moving. I can hear something in front of us, but I can't see what it is, and I'm wondering if it's those impalas. If you listen, all you can really hear predominantly are bird calls. I can hear a hyena very far in the distance as well. I wonder what she's thinking. There must be something fairly close by if she hasn't moved at all. She's not moving her head to look around, she's just moving her ears. Very well camouflaged in the spot that she's in. She is by far one of the most beautiful leopards I've seen. Rema, it is wonderful to see how her rosettes stand out in the grass. So we're seeing it a little bit differently because we're seeing the colors we are used to seeing. Animals can see slightly different colors and different spectrums. But she is so well camouflaged, even though the grass is green, you can see those rosettes very, very clearly. But by standing still, she's creating the illusion of the gaps in between the grass and the shade coming through from the trees. And so if she sits still for long enough, something might walk right past her without noticing that she is there. But then something as simple as moving her ear could give her away. So while we watch our leopard frozen in time, as she's watching, I think, some impalas, it sounds like Jonty has found Tavangumi again. Let's head over and have a look.
Yeah, Tavangumi was making us question what we were doing here. But we looped around back towards where the Impala were standing. The Impala are still just behind us. They're not far away at all. I think he's just sort of waiting for the perfect opportunity. I felt so bad that one of the other vehicles came to join us, and literally as they arrived, that's kind of when we lost him. That's what I was saying. It's so tough at the moment because you want to give them space, but you also don't want to disturb whatever they're doing. And in this grass, you can't even give them 10 meters because they just disappear. Amazing. I'd say the total distance between him and the Impala is maybe 40 or 50 meters. They're completely unaware that he's there. Perhaps he's just cleaning the tools, preparing them before. I'm just going to check with... Is that Peter driving around? Peter, come in. Sorry, Peter, did you come back into this area with Tavangumi?
Well, that's a nice one.
Copied. I've got your audio. If you head south and west from where you are. I'll just direct you in.
Jonty, I'm going to stick to the original 2-track and just follow where I last left you
going. It might go quite a bit further. If you just head south from where you are now, you're not too far from where we are.
If I go south from where I'm now, I'm going to hit the drainage and I'm going to chase these Impala. It's fine, I'll quickly come around.
Copy it. I'm sure you heard Peter there saying he's going to loop around, but it's always tricky. This is still, a hunting situation, even though can you see me? I'm to your left.
See your aerial there, yeah. Now I'll quickly come around. Otherwise I'm going to chase those Mala.
Copied. Even though Tamangumi's just lying here grooming himself, he's still definitely interested in these Impala. So, you want to position yourself so that you can still see the leopard, but also not spook the Impala. So that's why Peter's going to do a nice big loop. I always love that view of seeing their eyes through the grass. Tisha, in this area there definitely would be the bulk of the leopard's diet. But leopards have quite a wide range of animals that they will prey on, but definitely in the Sabi Sands. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that is so sick. Go ahead. It's 5 out of 5 currently. He's showing interest in a herd of Impala. He's probably about 50 meters off. Affirmative. If you head towards Sandy Patch, Vuyatela access, we'll call you in. No ways. That is such a bummer. I don't know if you can hear that. The Impala snorting behind us. I don't know which Impala spotted him. But look at the leopard's behavior. It's so interesting. We're going to have to stick with him now. But I can't believe they spotted him. Damn. Now we're going to have to work. Peter, his Impala have spotted the leopard. He's now mobile back towards the drainage line into that drainage line where I last saw you. There's a log.
Yeah. Alright.
It's amazing that the Impala spotted him. I really thought he was still completely concealed. Whoa. This is going to be tricky. I'm actually going to go around. So it's quite typical of the leopard's behavior there. You saw as soon as the Impala started snorting, he was like, cool, I'm out of here. And you saw how he ducked down and actually moved away from where they spotted him. They really don't like to be seen. hope we can find them again now. There he is there. So Peter, if you just follow my 2 tracks around, he's actually walking back on our original 2 track. So while we try to stay with Tamangumi, you're going to head over to Tessa.
Tandy is busy stalking at the moment. We're not sure what she's stalking. But look how carefully she's moving. She is in slow motion at the moment, trying not to make a single sound. I'm actually turning my radio off because I don't want to interrupt what is happening. So I'm not sure what she's seeing, but she's all of a sudden displaying some very strange behavior. I think she's trying to reposition. You can see she's placing her back feet exactly where her front feet have been, so that she doesn't make a noise by stepping on a new area that might have a twig or a branch or a dried leaf. I'm gonna have to try and move out of the frame just now. We still don't know exactly what she's looking at. It sounds like there might be maybe a bachelor herd of impalas, because we heard a few clashes that sounded maybe like horns. But we're really not 100% sure. We can't see past the silver cluster leaf thicket. I know Jonty was talking about it just now, but it can be very tough to tell when you should and should not move when you're with an animal that's hunting. Right now, I'm very close to her. I'm not going to be moving until I feel she's gone a certain distance away. Because if I even start the engine now, whatever is behind those silver cluster leaves will look this way, and there's a chance that they'll be able to see her. And I don't want that to happen. I've got to try and be as neutral as possible. So she's repositioned sufficiently again. Now she's happy to sit and listen. And she really is taking her time to gather a lot of information. From the time I've spent with Tandy, I've learned she's a very calculated leopardess. Very calculated. She likes to take ample time to make her decisions, gather information, and move as slowly as possible. It's something that I hope my Reeks will pick up one day. At the moment, I think he's still a bit young and inexperienced. I'm so desperate and excited to see what she is seeing, but I don't want to compromise her position, so we have to be patient. Bit of a tough game, but so worth it. I can't hear anything moving on the other side of the brush anymore. I could earlier. She is moving herself a lot more freely now in terms of her head. Where she was, I think she could possibly see a clear gap to them, and so that's why she was sitting dead still. Now that she's moved to a new position, you can see she's moving her head quite freely from left to right, not just her ears anymore. So whatever it is also moving. And that's why she feels confident enough to keep her head moving. Sarah, you could cut it with a very blunt butter knife. I've got this very excited anticipation building up in my stomach. Because when a leopard is being this calculated, you know it's for a reason. I'm just so excited that we're spending time with Tandy. My head a little bit. I just need to get a blade of grass here. I'm being attacked by hairy caterpillars, everybody. I've got about 4 on me. It's one of those situations where I'm trying to keep my cool. But when you get a hairy caterpillar on you, it spreads like wildfire. I'll see if I can show one to you. I must have driven through a nest of them somewhere, or they're coming up from the grass while we're sitting here. I'll take a brief break from Tandy to have a look at the hairy caterpillar. Try my best to keep still. So this is now the 3rd one that I've pulled off myself, and there is a 4th one busy climbing up my leg. All those little hairs, when they get onto your bare skin, will actually stick in your skin like little needles. So I have got very itchy hands and legs at the moment, everybody. Okay, let me put that back in the grass and get the other one off. So the best thing to do, everybody, when you have a hairy caterpillar on you is don't panic. Don't try and quickly brush it off with your hand. Try and slowly get it off with a stick. Because if you spread those little hairs, it feels like a fire. Alright, we're going to sit here with Tandy and see what she decides to do from here.
WildEarth is offering you a chance to win unique, never-before-seen t-shirts whilst playing an animal ID game on our new Discord channel. Sign up for free and click on Games to find the animal ID game. Every time an animal is posted by a mod, you guess the species and in some cases, the individual animal's name. The fastest correct answer will be put into a draw to win a t-shirt that cannot be bought anywhere. Prizes will be awarded every single day. Head over to our Discord channel now and join the animal ID fun.
Identifying individual African penguins can be extremely challenging because at first glance, they all look the same. Identifying Duo, an African penguin with a double breastband, was extremely exciting for me. Less than 5% of the African penguin population has this unique variation in plumage. And I can't wait to share Duo's life with everyone on WildEarth.
This is incredible. Looks like vivid monkeys do sometimes go for swims. I heard something splash, but we couldn't see what it was in the long grass. Now I just saw that thing swimming there. This is incredible. I hope it gets to the bank. There are crocodiles in this dam. And it looks like, you see that monkey climb up into the tree? Wow.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
I am an outdoor photographer, a wildlife filmmaker, and a conservation storyteller. Penguin Beach is going to offer us this really unique opportunity to watch and pick up on the smallest of details in the penguins' lives. It's going to allow us the time to really get to know these penguins well, get to know their story, and get to interpret the little finer details and share that with you with a live TV show and get you to fall in love with penguins.
I love being a camo for WildEarth. The animals coming right up close to you, especially like lions. Sometimes you get nervous, but you have to go with the flow. My favorite animal to film is the elephant because of how big it is. But when it's really up close to you, it's one animal that you would say, I really respect you.
Tandy is attempting to give us the Tandy slip again. I don't think she's actively trying to lose us, but whatever had her interest is now gone, and she's decided it's time to move again, going back towards Cheetah Cut Line. She is still moving fairly slowly. I thought I could maybe hear an elephant breaking branches, and maybe that's what's caused the bit of the disturbance she wasn't anticipating. Alright, there she goes. I'm going to have to map out a route to get there, although I think I've got one. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky leopard. She is so beautiful. What a pleasure to be able to watch her for so long while she's still. Yeah, actually, that might be a better option. Mapping it out as I go, everybody. I have managed to clear the hairy caterpillars, I think, most of them. And also just be aware that the branches that I am driving over, they are species that pop back up, and I'm putting them between my tires. So they're not being driven over, they actually just pop back up on the other side of the tire bed. And there's a dead tree down there, which is what sounds so crackly. Right, where are we going? It's definitely going back to Cheetah Cut Line. Oh, she is beautiful. I wonder how far my Roops is from here. He must be somewhere. Let's turn my radio back on now that the hunting is over. There's a big tree there. Oh, hello. She's just popped up in front of us. Sorry, you might hear some strange noises, everybody. I'm just fixing my earpiece. Hello, sweet girl. She's thinking very carefully again before she moves. I'm not seeing anything down in the clearing where she was looking, so whatever was here has definitely moved off. It was almost an immediate, you could see a change in her posture, in her physical kind of communication. Sally, yes, she's got some very strange, fluid, unusual movements, and it's liquid gold in a leopard. But you could see the change in her body language. She's now back to stalking again, or she's kind of looking very flattened in the grass. But as soon as whatever it was had moved out of her line of sight, she immediately sat up straight. She started scratching her ear. She scratched her claws on a tree, and then she walked in plain sight. So I'm not sure what's caused the change. But I'm going to have to try and go around this tree here. See if I can catch up with her. The easiest way is actually just going to go through there. What a morning. This is so exciting. I think this is the longest I've ever spent with Tandy in one go. Beautiful girl. You can see why she's called the queen. She absolutely is one. Go through there. I can see when elephants been walking through here, so there must have been elephants in the area. Seems Jonty and I are mirroring each other today while I'm trying to get to Tandy, I'm going to send you over to Jonty, who's working hard to get back to town grooming.
Thank you, Tess. We are with him, so it's so funny, we've actually just gone back past where we originally saw him. He's heading sort of north and east. I'm hoping he's kind of coming up onto a bit of a ridge. I'm super hopeful that he's going to go and climb a tree. And that's based on nothing. That's got nothing to do with his behavior. That's just what I'm hoping for. So he's going to walk past the front of us here. There's a very good tree candidate not far from where he is.
Jonty, thank you very much. I'm ready.
Copied. It's amazing. As they walk, as soon as they stop, they just like vanish. I'm just going to move the car. There's another vehicle with us in the sighting. Also trying to follow this leopard. Is he going to go up this tree? Yes, it'll be too good. He's gone past it, eh? Damn! So, he didn't do it for that one. It looks like a termite mound behind that. Maybe he's going to go up there. Often you'll find leopards, especially when the grass is this thick, they'll try and get sort of little vantage points that they can scan their surroundings, but how good would that have been? I drove some guests with a friend of mine, Don. Oh, he's up on the termite mountain. Be careful, yeah. Oh. Rusty, come on, boy. Well done, Rusty. And we had a leopard going towards a tree, and we were like, yeah, if he goes up there, my friend he bet a house on it. But luckily he changed his mind. The leopard did go up the tree, but we did put an alcoholic bet on it. Sometimes with male leopards, especially up on these termite mounds, so he's just come off of a termite mound here. They will go and investigate if there's any warthog burrows. So it is incredible how we've got to a point where we can drive and view these leopards. So like you're watching at home, he's just walked between two Land Rovers. He literally couldn't care less that we are here. He's just carrying on with his behavior. We really are spoiled to be able to watch this. I'm going to move while the other vehicle can see him. Like I was saying, we just want to sort of stay on him, especially while he's moving. We can't give him too much of a head start. Hold on. I loop around, you're going to head over to a very rare sighting. It's of JP.
Welcome back to Eco Training Pridelands. We quickly popped into the Eco Training camp to go and see if we can find the barred owlets. We've been very lucky to actually find all 3 of them again this morning. And we thought that we might actually come and share with them a few, as that we love them so much, and we hope that you love them as much as that we do. They are so fascinating to watch, and especially when they're busy hunting. There's a few things that I do find particularly interesting about them, is that they do lay clutches of eggs. It's normally 2 to 3 eggs, and they generally find that 2 of those 3 chicks will be raised successfully. However, in this case, for the 2nd year in a row now, they've actually raised all 3 chicks successfully. And we always wonder what happens with them, and quite often what we do find with young birds is that they will be in the territory or the home range of the parents for quite a while, and thereafter they have to disperse. And that dispersal behavior is to prevent that interbreeding takes place within that population. And it depends on the species, how far those birds will actually move off. And that's actually what makes ringing so fascinating. If you actually can have the birds ringed and regularly recaught and resighted, and if you get the numbers of those rings, it tells us a lot about their dispersal behavior. There's also a number of other methods how you can actually look at dispersal method behavior. And these days you can even put tiny little microchips and things onto birds and even insects and follow their behaviors and their movements. As to come back in terms of a nesting behavior, if you do find them ever, that you see them starting to pop into an area close by to you, into a tree where there's a natural occurring hole, that's most likely the nesting hole that they will be using. Good morning, Lisa, and welcome to the show. They are very cute, and we just hope that we're going to get the other 2 on live as well, and we would love to show them to you as well.
With the launch of WildEarth's Genesis collection of non-fungible tokens this week, we thought it would be a great time to take a trip down memory lane. Sign up to be a WildEarth explorer and you can join Lauren and Tess at the fire for a special look back at some of the animals in the first collection. From seeing Tandy save her babies from the baboons, to the first time we spotted Tranquil.
There's a tiny, tiny leopard cub. Kruger has given birth overnight. Guys, Kruger has brought her cubs to Djuma. We've been tracking her. Isn't this amazing?
It promises to be a real tearjerker. WildEarth is launching this NFT collection and others in the future to find an alternative way to fund conservation. Join us straight after the Sunset Safari on Saturday the 29th of January for an unforgettable fireside chat.
Our bodies are made up of about 60% water, which means that in a very short space of time, you can dehydrate completely. A relatively efficient way of collecting water early in the morning is to take an absorbent material like a sock and to walk through the grass, absorbing the condensed dewdrops on the grass. Once the material is saturated, you can then squeeze it out into a container, or you can suck it out directly into your mouth.
My favorite animal is a leopard, purely because I just think they are just the epitome of feline grace and power, and the way they can move about in any environment and remain hidden until they want to be seen, I just find incredibly intoxicating. And They're amazingly beautiful.
Catch up with the guides daily here on WildEarth.
Camouflaging like an expert, Miss Tandy. The only reason that where she is at the moment and her body, the only reason it catches your eye is because she's currently grooming. If she was sitting still, I could drive past her at this distance and very possibly completely miss her. But we're relaxing at the moment. Just to give you a bit of a recap, we're now very close to cheetah cut line. It's maybe 20 meters in front of the vehicle. And she's just decided everything else has moved. It looks like there was an elephant in the area feeding, and maybe that's what chased her impalas away. She's decided it's time to relax. So she's been doing a very thorough grooming session of her paws, of her back legs, of her stomach, and a little bit of her face. Austin, you're 8 years old. Yes, Tandy does still have her own territory. She's predominantly always been seen here on the eastern side of Djuma, close to Cheetah Cut Line, and a little bit further south. Bear in mind, she has given up parts of her territory over the years for her own cubs as well, especially the females, but she does seem to have her favorite areas, and that's all within her territory. So as a female leopard gets older, as Tandy started having cubs and moving around a bit more, every time she had a female cub that was successful, she would give up a piece of her territory, and then she expands into a different area. So she's definitely still got her territory. It's also where Maribs is at the moment. He's certainly taking advantage of his mother's territory. And, excuse me, and I think she's going to have this territory until she dies, to be perfectly honest. She's an old girl now. She's on 15 years old, just on 15. And I don't know if she's going to have any more cubs, but I think she's going to keep this territory. Because Kuchava's around, she's in the south. Tlalamba's around, she's been in this area and a little bit further north. So they're all overlapping a little bit, and that's all generations from Tandy, which is quite impressive. I wonder where Maribs is going to go. That for me is going to be a very fascinating transition, watching where and when Maribs decides to leave and become fully independent. Because it's different for a male, you know, where Tandy can keep her territory and keep giving pieces to her daughters, the males have to move. You know, if Tavangumi's around, Tortoise Pan is around, all of these big males, even Mulwati, this is actually Mulwati's territory. Maribs is going to have to move at some point to try and stay safe from the bigger males that are territorial here. And that for me will be quite a fascinating changeover. So it is definitely the longest I've spent with Miss Tandy, and certainly the longest I've spent with her that Maribs is not around. So it's been a very entertaining and entertaining morning and a very good learning experience for me to spend time with Tandy on her own. But it sounds like JP still has his owl, so we'll head from one predator to the other and soak in a few more of the beauties.
Welcome back to Pridelands. We're still with our African barred owlet at the moment. I wonder what's going on today. Is it maybe the cold temperatures which is making their prey a little bit slow, or if they're actually just full at the moment? Because generally when we do watch them, they're always busy eating. Yesterday afternoon, when it was really, really warm, they actually made their way over towards one of the bird baths in the camp as well. And they went to go and enjoy a little bathing session there. All three of them was in the little dam, busy cooling themselves down, ruffling their feathers and then realigning them. At the moment they're looking very, very serious down to something at the ground. Maybe we get lucky and see them making another little kill. If you are wondering what these tiny little owls do feed on, they tend to feed mostly on insects. We also find that they go for small little reptiles. In some cases, there's even records of where they've taken small little snakes. But most of the adult feeding generally takes place in the nighttime. However, with the young, I've always seen them feeding basically in the daytime and overcast days. I also love the way that they can turn their head at 270 degrees. As you can see, they have to turn the head quite a wide angle, so that they've got forward-facing eyes. And when they have to focus on something, they have to turn the whole head towards where the sound is coming from. They're actually very focused on sounds as well as movements. And quite often when there is larger birds flying over, you will immediately see them looking up into the sky to determine if it's a threat or not. Good morning, Pinky, and welcome to the show. And Pinky's question is, does the coloration of the feathers change when they do become older? This is pretty much the color that you will see with them. And if you do ever go to the Eastern Cape region of South Africa, we do find a different subspecies over there that I have seen in the past. A little bit different in color, but very, very slight difference in the coloration pattern and the intensity of the color pattern. It's when they're really young that they will still be a little bit more downy in appearance, but pretty much these are already older than 45 days. And we know that they're older than 45 days because that's roughly the period that it takes for them to fly. And as far as I can remember, I've seen them flying for at least the last 15 to 20 days already. Well, in the meanwhile, let's go and see what Jonty is up to. It seems as if he's found his leopard again.
So we were fortunate. He's gone up a tree. So epic. And he's moved twice since he went up the tree. Had to reposition, and now he's almost directly above us, which is quite a unique position to be in. Just doing some grooming. You can imagine what a good vantage point he's got from where he is now. Just cleaning himself. After walking through the grass this morning, he would have got wet and probably picked up a lot of ticks submarining through the grass. Bless you. Brian, I've seen them eating termites or alates when they're erupting. But that would be, I suppose, not the norm. Leopards are definitely the most adaptive of the cats in terms of mixing up what they will feed on. It's so cool. I'm just going to let you enjoy that visual for a bit. Morning, Kenny. I hope you are dominating. It's funny, he's in a marula tree currently, which in this area is often a favorite. It's funny though, I've seen them in all different kinds of trees. Normally you would like to think that it would be any sort of large tree with big branches that they could lie on. I've seen them a lot in sausage trees, mahogany trees, marula trees, but I've also seen them in very sort of scraggly small trees as well. Let's look at that. That's doing a legendary job. He just told me now that when I was obviously so excited this morning when I introduced us, I said, and Gert's on the radio. What a palooka. He's actually on a camera. Or behind a camera. It'd be hard to work it if you were on it. It is interesting how I was thinking, he was so close to those Impala and they still didn't. It wasn't like they alarmed as if they definitely knew it was him. But interesting that he just decided, okay, cool, I'm going to move right out of there. And he's literally walked directly past where we first saw him. But he's been active for a while. It's 7:15 now. I think we've been with him for probably an hour. Maybe slightly longer. Look, he's hanging his head up there.
It is true that most NFTs are on the Ethereum blockchain, and vast amounts of computers are using massive amounts of energy to keep Ethereum running.
By minting our NFTs on Polygon, it allows us to use the least possible amount of energy while still creating real incentives for our custodians to conserve the environments and habitats of these animals.
Conservation really is conserving habitat. It needs to be saved in its context, and this context is the landscape it lived in.
How important are the surrounding communities to conserve in Djuma?
Crucial. Conservation doesn't happen in a vacuum. If surrounding communities do not see the value, how could you expect them to buy into the idea of conserving? To have NFTs generate ongoing income is just remarkable.
40% of the first sale and 8% of every resale is routed back to the habitat custodian.
Once 40% of that sale lands in the bank, it's very real.
Cape Nature is the chief custodian of the Western Cape of South Africa's natural environment. This highly successful organization strives to conserve the province's natural heritage to ensure a sustainable future. Besides nurturing nature, Cape Nature offers an authentic ecotourism experience to local and international visitors. And one of these experiences is walking amongst the penguins at Stony Point, or as we know it, Penguin Beach. WildEarth broadcasts live from here every day and is very privileged to be partnered with Cape Nature, who have focused their conservation efforts here. If you want to visit these iconic black and white African penguins for yourself, then head over to our website to find out more. Cape Nature. Conserve, explore, experience.
Oh, what are you doing? Are you trying out for the ballet? Now it's an itchy bottom. Up we get. Mom's coming. Everybody's moving off.
We are having a very good morning on Predators. I've just left Tandy. She was very nice and relaxed, flat sleeping in the grass. And as we've pulled out, we've spotted a beautiful brown snake eagle sitting up on the tree very calmly, busy looking for some food. And it's got a starling keeping it company. I'm sure it's been mobbed this morning. But definitely a wonderful morning for predators. That is one thing, regardless of the weather, you're bound to see a raptor at some point. And this snake eagle's actually sitting very calmly. It's very close to us, but you can see it's moving its head a lot, so it is looking for food actively, checking for movement through the grass. Well, the starling's hopping closer now. Might start its mobbing again. I wonder. We've been very lucky with brown snake eagles in particular recently, and in fact yesterday 2 black-chested snake eagles. It seems like the predators are out in force now that the rain is done. This is probably one of my favorite birds to see out here. Because they are normally so calm, you often get to see them for quite a long time. It's very tough to tell whether it's a male or female. They look the same, both sexes. But from the size of it, I'm almost inclined to say this would be a female. Females are a little bit larger than males usually when you're looking at birds because they have to have enough space to produce and carry eggs. It is a prime morning to be hunting though, whether you're a leopard or a snake eagle. Nice overcast weather, you're not overheating. And animals are going to be trying to stay safe but also warm up. So especially for a brown snake eagle, it's going to be looking towards the roads and the termite mounds for anything sunning. Face, the starling would be a little bit nervous of getting eaten, but the main focus is just to put pressure on the bird. Because the starling is smaller, it has a much quicker take-off time, and it's probably a little bit more agile as well. So sitting at that distance, it's not an issue at all. As it gets closer, you'll see they're very strategic in how they mob. It won't mob from the side, it'll always mob from the top, because the eagle's going to have a slower reaction time from the top, because it'll have to use its claws to try and grab into the bird. It won't catch it with its beak. And so they're very, very strategic with how they will mob a bird of prey. So it is a fairly safe situation. Mostly we find Burchell starlings and fork-tailed drongos that would be kind of tenacious enough to be mobbing big birds like this. What a lovely sight for the morning. It's definitely predator filled. From here, I'm headed towards the hyena den to go and check if Ribbon might be around. But it sounds like Jonty is still with Tavangumi and they're having a very good time. So we'll send you over to that side.
Faster. Yes, that's irritating. I'm so sad that it took Tessa 11 years to link because the leopard just ran down the tree. Okay, well, let's try. So something obviously got his attention. Let's try and stick with him. I'm going to have to give Tessa a bit of grief at the breakfast table. She gets the long link award. Hopefully that brown snake eagle was doing something exceptional. I didn't check. Did he go this way? Yeah. Okay. So he gave us a little bit of a respite there after following him through the grass. It's amazing. He looked like he was literally about to go to sleep, and then something got his attention and he got up and ran out of the tree. And now I can't see him. Do you think more this way? Oh, there's an Impala. Okay, so that's what that will be what he's going to. Dylan, looks like a group of male Impala just west of that termite mound. I'm assuming that's what he's going towards. I can't see him.
Your visual, thanks, Dylan.
Yeah, Sam, I hope so. So now we're in that sort of awkward time. When we were here this morning, we know he's here and we know where the Impala are. We just can't see him, so we've just got to be patient and sort of wait for the eruption to happen. But I think we would have got where we are before him. So I'd like to think he's coming from our right. That's where he came from. The big trees, just, you can't quite see it, but the big trees there that he came out of, and we looped. This is the direction he was heading to. Another vehicle's joined us here, so we're all just scanning around to see if we can catch a glimpse of him. But if these Impala are what he's after, he's going to be flat in the ground, using every bit of cover that he can to get a bit closer. But it's a very cool example of how they use those vantage points.
Would he take it up the tree?
Possibly. Especially during the daytime, they don't necessarily take it up the tree.
It's always tough now. Your instinct is always to want to move to try and see him, but it is better to just kind of hold tight for a little bit. I actually can't even see the Impala anymore. I wonder, maybe we could do a little loop. I'm just going to reposition the car.
WildEarth is offering you a chance to win unique, never-before-seen t-shirts whilst playing an Animal ID game on our new Discord channel. Sign up for free and click on Games to find the Animal ID game. Every time an animal is posted by a mod, you guess the species and in some cases, the individual animal's name. The fastest correct answer will be put into a draw to win a t-shirt that cannot be bought anywhere. Prizes will be awarded every single day. Head over to our Discord channel now and join the Animal ID fun. Wildlife trafficking remains a growing problem in South Africa and often made worse by the way the media portray this complex issue. WESA, the Wildlife and Environment Society of South Africa, in partnership with WWF South Africa and supported by USAID, have recently embarked on a program whereby they train reporters to better tell stories of wildlife trafficking.
In my community, wildlife conservation is mostly something other people do, and I would like to change that. My name is Iman Singli. I told people I met that the pangolin is one of the most trafficked animals on the planet. But what is a pangolin, they said? Why is it in danger? This is what made me decide that the pangolin story must be told. If we are to play a part in preventing the extinction of this animal, then we must all be part of the battle.
A partnership between WWF South Africa and WESA, supported by USAID.
It's a legless skink, but I'm trying to identify this snake that's come out. Oh, no wave. It's decided to leave. Go off the road, making way for it, and then we'll carry on.
It's a huge privilege to be in these incredible places with these amazing animals. I love filming lions. When they do get up and do something, it's always spectacular. When they are playing, are incredibly fun to watch, especially subalterns and cubs. I love being in the bush and working in these incredible places with these amazing animals. We want to bring it to you so that you can almost feel like you're right there and be able to experience it and enjoy it the way we are.
Okay, so if you can see where Gert's focusing through the back of those branches and grass, you can just make out the leopard's pattern. He's there, and the impala, also very difficult to see, but it's just through here, so he's not far at all. This is a great position. Oh, yeah, no, man. Flip. Not sure. Like I said before, if the impala definitely see him, they'll be alarming like incessantly. And it's interesting, even though this looks so close, often guests at this sort of distance, guests are like, well, why is he not just running out? There's no hope if he just burst out from where he is now. He needs to be much closer. Now, the impala, I'm not sure. But after that initial snort, he's going to be very cautious of his movements. Jackie, if he was to catch an adult male impala, which is what is potential right here, maybe like a full day or two, just depends how hungry he is, or when was the last time he ate, but that's kind of why typically in this area, because of the hyena pressure, they'll often put it up a tree. Then they don't need to sort of rush feed, you know, they'll can take their time. But a male impala, you might have him in the tree for sort of 2 days, hopefully. I know the visuals aren't great. If you're tuning in now, you think we're doing a segment on twigs, but you just saw a slight movement from him there. The Impala is still in the exact same space. So if you have just tuned in, we're watching a leopard busy stalking a herd of Impala. Yeah, his camouflage is so good. I mean, if we were on the other side, the other two vehicles are on the other side of that bush, I imagine they've got a pretty clear view of him. But where we are, it's not so clear. But now it's a pure patience game. Because as Impala did let off one little snort, but they are on alert, but they are not moving away. They're just sort of standing there. Yeah, stuck in bed has been pretty legendary and amazing. It involved zero skill. He was just lying right on the road for us. But I'm super happy because on my last stint here, we didn't see him at all. We heard him called in a lot. In Buffelshoek, north of us, but didn't get to see him, so I'm very happy with this. While we wait this out, you're going to head over to Tessa and see what she's heading over to a watering hole.
So I've come to check on our little Hornbill family here at Twin Dams, and it looks like the male is just getting back with a kill. So I'm sure, there we go, he's putting it straight into the hole. You can hear the babies inside. They're all shouting for food now that Dad's here and has poked his head in. I wonder if he's going to come back. It's the first time first time I've heard the chicks. Since the whole time I've been checking on it, it's the first time I've heard the chicks. He's hopped off to another branch, but I'm sure he's going to come back and feed them again. So while we're waiting to see if he does come back, there's actually a very cute little squirrel right next to the car here that is feeding on something. Look at that little face. Had a lot of squirrel drama recently. Actually, when we got here, there was a squirrel very close to the entrance of the nest. I thought maybe it could smell them and was looking for some food. Here it goes. So we are in a very lucky area for birding. This is one of the best spots for birding that we have here on Djuma, and in my opinion, this is one of the best spots because you've got the dam on one side, the drainage line on the other, lots and lots of tall trees. Oh, the squirrel's busy climbing back onto the main branch there, going back towards the nest. Leo, the hole in the tree does look very narrow, but the female is inside with the chicks and the male is on the outside bringing in food. And so what happens is when it's time for the chicks to start fledging, then from the inside the mom will be knocking out the mud that's been packed in to close the entrance, and the dad will be pulling from the outside. So they work together as a team to open the entrance up again. It would have been a much wider hole, and they've closed it up over time to make it just big enough that he can drop food in. And so when the time comes, hopefully dad is on the outside to help. Mom will be pushing from the inside and he'll open the hole to the nest again. And then mom will come out with all of the chicks. So we've got some impalas around this bachelor herd. We can't see any at the moment, but I think spread out between the drainage line and the jackalberry at the crossing into the drainage line. And it sounds like they're a little bit unhappy, and I'm wondering if it's because they've heard something or maybe just getting a little bit impatient with each other as we're getting closer to the rutting season. You can see they're just crossing over onto the other side of the river there. Oh, and the constant call of a crested barbet in the background. Being very careful as they approach it and go through the drainage line. You can imagine this is the perfect hiding spot for Tandy, Tlalamba, or Maribs, or Langa, or even Shasha. There's a number of leopards that frequent this drainage line. So for these impalas, they need to be absolutely sure they're not walking into danger. And looking at impalas and speaking of them, it sounds like Tavangumi is trying to get some breakfast. Let's head over to Jonty.
Thanks, Tess. We've just looped around. The impala were a little bit nervous. They moved away from him, but he's now actively following them. He's just off to my right here. Look how he's moving there. You see how he's looking? The impala, the last time I saw them, they're not... Oh, did it just run there? So you see he's walking towards us now. He's trying to stay just ahead of them. Yes, this is cool. So it's going to be hard to stay with him, but he wants one of these impala. That's what he wants for breakfast, and I don't blame him. Okay, so it's a bachelor group of impala that he's kind of skirting. He's trying to just stay in front of them. With the vegetation as it is now, often what you'll see, what the leopards would like to do is get in front of where the impala are going. Because one, that way they don't have to then stalk. They just position themselves perfectly and let the impala walk onto them. But now I can't see the impala and I can't see him. But he should be coming in from our left here. Oh, here he is here. So the impala must have already moved, but you can see how he's still focused.
I don't want to block his way.
Hi, man. Can you still see the impala?
I can't see them, but we might have seen them.
So I'm just chatting to the guys on the other vehicle. You can see the direction he's looking. It's a pity. We get so excited, but you think how many things have to fall into place for a hunt to be successful. Watch his whiskers there. You can almost sense when he seems to spot them. It's like everything gets a bit more intent. Damn, I think he's called it there. Flip, that was close though. Yeah, you're right, Maureen. You can see he's so hungry. Look at how he's submarining through the grass there. Look when he lies down. Yeah. So, remember what I was saying, how he would like to get ahead of the Impala? This is the type of thing that they would like to do, is get in front and then crouch down and let the Impala actually walk on top of him. When I say not stand on him, but walk towards him. But unfortunately, he's lost that chance with those Impala that we saw. We're just seeing an example. It's so amazing having a grass seed in your eye. Some of the vehicles are, well, the other two vehicles are both leaving us to ourselves here. It's time for a coffee break.
Being out of the Leopard.
Peaceful surroundings, the nature. It's not something I can get in my homeland, so it's wonderful to be able to be live, with you guys and feel like you're actually there.
If you want to go on safari with a WildEarth guide, whilst honing your bush knowledge and of course featuring in one of our shows, then head over to our website.
With wild dogs, wonderful, absolutely wonderful. We don't always get to see those, so that's just been amazing.
Sign up to be a WildEarth explorer and you could be making your first ever on-screen appearance.
I wanted to be part of the support of WildEarth. It brings so much to everybody, and everything has brought so much to me, especially, got me through some difficult times myself. I found WildEarth shortly before I was going to go through some things in my own personal life, and it's what got me through, and I know that's a story for many, many, many people, so it's important to me to provide support to that.
BirdLife South Africa, our country's only dedicated bird conservation organization. They have been very successful in a number of areas, including the conservation of more than 150,000 hectares of grasslands and estuary habitat, saving thousands of albatrosses in trawl and longline fishing, and training community bird guides as ambassadors for nature in rural areas. Celebrating their official 25th anniversary, they are sharing 25 of their top success stories across their social media platforms. BirdLife South Africa is currently striving towards the conservation of 132 bird species that are heading for extinction. If we conserve birds, we will protect other biodiversity and important habitats that provide clean water and clean air for humans. Their work is forever ongoing. People who love birds can become a member of BirdLife South Africa or make a donation towards a bird conservation project.
There is clearly something in the vicinity around you that's drawn their attention. Yes, that meerkat in the tree is just the coolest of cool meerkats. But watch how he battles when he comes down. That would be like me climbing a tree, just better.
I think I'm going to have to re-evaluate working with Jonty at this stage. I've seen Tafangumi once before, very, very briefly. And he gets back on his first day back, and he has a whole 2 hours with him. And I was really adamant I was going to beat him to a leopard this morning, and I was on my way to Tandy, and then he just bumps into Tafangumi. Darn it. I have to up my game. But I definitely feel like BK and Jonty brought luck. They brought some form of luck with them, for whatever reason. It's been an absolutely wild morning. I'm approaching Treehouse Dam now, so I went past the hyena den. It was inactive, not even the cubs were around that we could tell. I went past our little Hornbill family, twin dams, and now I'm approaching Treehouse Dam. So I want to see if there's any elephants around. I feel like today's the first day in a while we haven't seen elephants. I heard one in the Tandy sighting, and we could see where he had been feeding when we came around to the other side. But I'd love to see some elephants. Maybe they're all up in quarantine eating the marulas. Area, all the drainage lines, the birds calling. Living the dream, everybody, living the dream. And I've been asked this one a lot. I have a few favorite bird calls. This is the problem. And I'm actually about to do the bird call challenge when we get to Treehouse Dam for the day. But I have a few, and it's tough for me to categorize. I think overall the most unusual call for me, which is why it sticks in my mind, is a violet-backed starling. It sounds very mechanical and reminds me a bit of the old internet dial-up tone back when that existed. Now everything's Wi-Fi and smooth. But I also love, magpie shrike, and I love quite a few different ones. I think my overall favorite, though, is probably a white-bellied sunbird. Oh, we're going over to Jonty quickly. We're going over to Jonty.
Yeah, sorry, Tess, we have been spoilt, and now he's just been a legend. Popped up another tree. Watch. Jump up there. Do it. Yes. He's actually looking back in the direction that we came. Oh, please go up higher. That'll be so good. No, great. I almost need to go further back. I'll just wait and see where he settles, and maybe we can reposition. But it's not bad for now. I wonder if he's trying to see those Impala again. You just hear the rattling testiculars shouting in the background. Yeah, he's very agile. He makes jumping around that tree look super simple. He's trying to find a comfy spot to lie down. The trouble is, if I reverse, there's a big termite mound right next to us, but I just want to wait and see where he settles before I move the car. It's always better to look at their face rather than what's under the tail. Let me try go back. He seems, just so you can see, they're going to have a gap through here. Yeah, Dana, I think so. That is what's keeping him moving. But look at that, eh? How cool. Yeah, no. Dude. It's not a good tree to lie in. As you can see how he's panting as well now. It is starting to get warmer. So I do think he wants to settle down. That is so funny. He just can't quite get comfortable. Imagine what a cool surprise it would be if you didn't know he was here and you just come around the corner, because we're now on the road, and just to see him lying up there like that. I'm just going to check if there's any other vehicles that are interested. Are there any other stations interested in the sighting of Tavangumi?
I haven't copied anyone on a standby or whatever responding.
Copied.
Still out of Djuma.
Look at that, it's amazing. Wow, hey.
And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Live.
Oh, that's cool.
Just in there.
And the black mamba's going up the tree and the mongoose is attacking it.
She's gonna pounce again.
Sure, you can all agree with me. It's not a bad start to our Wednesday morning.
Something that I have never seen before in my entire life that you are now watching live.
Look at that. It's just beautiful. Fantastic display by a little herd of springbuck.
How is this view?
My heart is in my mouth, everybody.
Amazing, they've locked their tusks together. You can hear the cracking branches.
It is so incredible to spend this time so close to an African penguin, and it's completely unfazed by my presence whatsoever.
How insane is that animal?
Amazing.
Hey. Oh, awesome. It is fantastic to watch.
Well, now we've got a tug of war between mom and daughter, look.
I'm just at a loss for words. That's just incredible to see that.
I've just arrived at Treehouse Dam and it's a beautiful, tranquil morning here. Lots of birds flying around and birds calling in the distance. And I think this is a great way to just spend a bit of time soaking in what we have seen this morning. It's been such a crazy morning. Got our blacksmith lapwing pair over here. A few swallows flying over every now and then. And a lot of red-billed buffalo weavers calling, which we haven't heard consistently at Treehouse Dam in a while. I think the rain's been messing with the bird life. But I figured it would be a good time for us to do our bird call challenge. I know I've been going through the list of favorites, so this morning I'm going to be playing one of Jonty's favorite bird calls. I was feeling quite defeated that he had spotted the leopard before me. But I feel better now, and I feel very humoured by the fact that actually Gert spotted the leopard and not Jonty. So I might have to go and do one of Gert's favourite bird calls again tomorrow just to honour that a little bit. Alright, so if you want to guess what bird call this is, please do. You can send in either the family name if you think it's a specific family, or if you know the bird, please, by all means, send in the bird name. This is more of an unusual one. It's a bit of a challenge. We don't often find them here on Djuma, but you do see them on the rare occasion in the low veld. We have been observing this family quite a bit in the last week, so that's your hint. We've been observing this family for quite a bit. Let's see if you can figure out the species. All right, get ready. Here comes your bird call. Alright, it's quite an unusual call. It's got a very melodic section to it. And we'll see if you can figure out what bird call it is. While you're having a think about it, we're going to sit here and soak in the scenery and listen to the other sounds around us. Hopefully that doesn't confuse you with all of the other birds calling. But we will see. I'm actually very impressed that Jonty chose that call. It's a beautiful bird call. Not one that I've heard often, but I already love it. It seems that the bird is already stumping a few people. Well done, Jonty. It is quite an unusual bird call. I'm actually going to hop off the vehicle very quickly because it seems as though when I was off-roading, I had a porcupine call and a feather that I was using as my pointer. And I think I may have knocked them off while I was off-roading for Tandy. So I'm going to pick a nice piece of grass and use that as my pointer until I find myself another porcupine quill. I'm a little bit short to get into these vehicles. I really thought I was tall until I started driving these vehicles and realized I have to prop myself up on cushions and struggle to get in. It is heating up nicely. So we are seeing more and more flashes of birds. We're hearing more and more calls. And there's not even a breath of wind. So the ripples that you can see on the dam are actually from insects, from birds dipping in, and from the fish as well. I particularly enjoy the call of the red-billed buffalo weaver. Stuck in bed, that's a pretty good guess. They've got a very similar tone to their calls. It almost sounds a little bit electronic, but no, it's not a starling. Also one of the species we've been watching a bit recently. But it's a good guess. Thank you for your answer, Stuck in Bed. If anybody needs an extra hint, we've been looking at the nests a lot recently of that same family of birds. I feel like I could sit at this dam all day to see what comes and goes. I'm glad that we've managed to stump you. I feel like yesterday afternoon was a little bit too easy, so I've made it a bit of a challenge this morning with Jonty's help. It is all about teamwork after all. This afternoon I'll do one of BK's favorites. I actually must be honest, when I thought about this bird, I couldn't actually picture the call, or I couldn't hear the call in my head until I heard the call and then I clicked. But it's certainly a bit of a challenging one this morning, but our avid birders might be able to get it. This bird has quite a bright coloration on parts of its body. I've got my book ready to show you just now. In fact, the Afrikaans name for this bird is a reference to the call. To the melodious type of call that it's got, with that beautiful section at the end that bounces around. Oh, Keisha, yes, you're on the money. It's a weaver. It's definitely a weaver. Well done. So weavers are pretty well known for their melodious calls. And this particular species is quite a stumper. So I don't know if we have any more guesses. I'm going to give it 10 more seconds and then I'll show you which weaver it is in the book. Seems like Jonty's on fire today. Well, Gerrit finding Tavangumi, but obviously Jonty being able to follow him. But choosing a good bird call is always a nice one because so many people do know the different birds and this one is quite a stumper. Alright, I'm going to show you what it is, everybody. But yes, it is a weaver indeed. It is the dark-backed weaver. Very unusual compared to the other weaver species. They're all predominantly yellow, other than the chestnut weaver. But this has got the very dark back and then the bright yellow belly. But yes, it's a tough call. I'm very impressed. Well done on choosing a weaver. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I love it. Well done, well done. I'm enjoying these bird calls. It's keeping me on my toes as well. I actually already know what the bird call is going to be for this afternoon. X-Ranger, I agree. I think quite a bit of music is based on bird calls. But yes, I agree. Especially those melodious ones are just absolutely beautiful to listen to. And it's always a pleasure spending time listening to the birds around you. They can tell you a lot, but also just immerse you in a whole different feel in the bush. When you're listening to something instead of seeing it, it makes quite a different impression in the bush. Alright, it sounds like Jonty is still enjoying his time with Tavangumi, so let's head over and have a look.
I'm glad you managed to figure out what the call was. I did think it was bizarre, and Tess was leaving this morning. She said, what's your favourite bird call? I was like, that's a weird question this early in the morning. But I see she had a plan up her sleeve. We're still here with this male leopard. He moved around a little bit. He seems to have finally found a comfortable spot, and I think that's probably going to be him for the next sort of while. But that is a great vantage point, so if something does walk past, he'll be able to spot it and then hopefully make a move. We were just chatting now. We hope he does catch something on this side of the boundary. He's not far from the Buffelshoek boundary, which is where he has been spending the bulk of his time. Whoa. He's just not quite settling. I'd highly doubt that the microphone will pick it up, but while we were sitting here, if you sit quietly, you can actually hear him panting, which is pretty cool. They do make it look so comfortable. I have tried to nap on a branch like that. It didn't work so good. I lost the feeling in my legs. I mean, it's a good question. It's tough to answer that with an exact number of days. Because we also don't get to see every single thing that goes on in their life, so we might find a leopard every 3 to 5 days, for example, with a substantial kill, like maybe a duiker or an impala up in a tree or on the ground. But what we don't know is they might catch a squirrel or a bird, little things that they catch and eat that keep them going. But the same as us, water is more important. They'll be able to go longer without eating than drinking. Obviously, when they do eat, they do get a lot of nourishment from the blood. So I'm just putting some sunscreen on. The sun just turned up a few degrees. I hope my mom's watching. Get brownie points for putting sunscreen on. But also that, just carrying on with that question of how long they can survive without food. Obviously, the younger they are, the better they can bounce back. So even him, you might see him get very, very thin from not catching anything, but as soon as he has one big meal, then he'll look fantastic again. As they get older, it's harder for them to bounce back. And then that sort of expenditure of energy of actually trying to catch something can become detrimental when they're older.
WildEarth is offering you a chance to win unique, never-before-seen t-shirts whilst playing an animal ID game on our new Discord channel. Sign up for free and click on Games to find the animal ID game. Every time an animal is posted by a mod, you guess the species and in some cases, the individual animal's name. The fastest correct answer will be put into a draw to win a t-shirt that cannot be bought anywhere. Prizes will be awarded every single day. Head over to our Discord channel now and join the animal ID fun. For those of you who love to join us on safari here on WildEarth, we have some news.
This is incredibly exciting.
The team have trawled through the archives and found the very best of Safari Live from over the years.
Come and disperse there.
With locations such as the Masai Mara in Kenya.
You can see how close he is from where I am.
Tswalu in the Kalahari.
It is absolutely incredible.
And of course, Pinda and Ngala, right here on our doorstep.
Listen.
We have hours of great entertainment that is now playing on our channel. Catch up with guides from the past, and of course your favorite animal characters.
It's happening. I've never seen this before.
The best of Safari Live will be broadcast on WildEarth channel daily, so jump on board and join us down memory lane. Times for this brand new series are on our website.
So there we go, look. All three in one frame. Look at that, isn't that cool? Oh, that is so special. That is exactly what we had been hoping for, is all three of them to come together and make the perfect little family portrait.
My name is David, and I love being a cam op because you get a front row seat to all the best sightings that WildEarth has to offer. Sharing it with everyone else, well, that's a perk too. What makes the WildEarth experience magical? Well, it has to be the fact that it's live and interactive. The sighting that'll be ingrained in my brain for life, watching a lioness kill 3 wildebeest during the migration in the space of about 20 minutes. My spirit animal, that has to be a monkey.
So, he just seems to have settled even more. So, we just thought we'd stay and let you have one last look at him. And we're actually going to carry on and leave him here. Thank you very much, Tabangumi, for giving us a good or fantastic morning. We can come back here later and see if he's in the same tree. Cheers, big boy. So funny, I was just looking through my phone. I actually found a picture of of him when he must have been maybe 4 months old. Let's take this beast out of low range. Okay, so it feels good to drive on the road again. We've spent the whole morning off-road, which is always epic. Let's see what else is out in a boat. So has Tess mentioned what her favourite bird call is? So that I can pick up on this little game she's playing. Bird call, bird call. I just got told that Tess doesn't have a favourite. There's too many to choose from. Tess, that's lame. Pick one. Or top 3. It is difficult to pick one, but just try. Ooh, the sun is coming out. I'm quite glad it's been sort of partly cloudy this morning, which has kept the sun at bay, but now it's coming out with a vengeance. While we keep driving along, you're going to head over to Tess, who's on quarantine.
Challenge accepted, Jonty. I think we can rock the bird call challenges every single day. Let's do it. I'm excited. I've just arrived up at quarantine, and we are watching a lovely little family of kudus that are quite spread out. These two seem to be enjoying the shade, but there are a few others that are spread out through the sunnier patches, some on termite mounds, some just walking through the brush. And I think just enjoying the peacefulness up on quarantine. There are no other animals, not even impalas, just birds calling in the distance. But I particularly am enjoying this male. It's a young male, maybe 2 years old, if that. Just onto. He's looking very big in body size, but his horns are actually what captured my attention, because they're at the stage now where they look just like a nyala's horns. Just starting into their first curl and twisting upwards. He is very handsome. Very delicately grooming around his hoof. Possibly an ant or something, maybe a tick. And this, to me, of all of the antelopes that we see out in the bush, I love steenbok, I love nyalas, I think they're beautiful. But a kudu to me is this perfect combination of strength and elegance. It's like the antelope version of a leopard for me. And there's just this, the way that especially the males stand. His head is up high like that. You can see he's focused on something, but he's standing with his head high and his face forward and just demanding respect, even though he's so young. And he's in a sea of red star zinnias, which is even more beautiful, little pops of red flowers everywhere. In excellent condition. And just enjoying the peace and quiet. Let's watch him feeding for a little bit. I'm sure he's eating the leaves around the red star zinnias and some of the herb layer. But he looks as though he's walking towards the sun. And that's the most beautiful time to watch that coat color changing in the different patches of light and shade, and just listen to the calls around us. Kudus are very peaceful animals, so it's a perfect moment to be peaceful with him. I'm glad you're enjoying the scene, Daisy. It's always good to have a few quiet moments where you're appreciating some of the other animal life. I feel it kind of grounds a person and helps you gravitate towards the magic that you have witnessed and are witnessing. Because the bush is so unpredictable, and little moments like this where you can spend with things like kudus that are normally so adamant to leave, it really can make a big difference.
With the launch of WildEarth's Genesis collection of non-fungible tokens this week, we thought it would be a great time to take a trip down memory lane. Sign up to be a WildEarth explorer and you can join Lauren and Tess at the fire for a special look back at some of the animals in the first collection. From seeing Tandy save her babies from the baboons, to the first time we spotted Tranquil.
There's a tiny, tiny leopard cub. Kruger has given birth overnight. Guys, Kruger has brought her cubs to Djuma. We've been tracking her. Isn't this amazing?
It promises to be a real tearjerker. WildEarth is launching this NFT collection and others in the future to find an alternative way to fund conservation. Join us straight after the Sunset Safari on Saturday the 29th of January for an unforgettable fireside chat.
It has been a wonderful privilege to identify one of our key characters here at Penguin Beach, Pepper, with a very, very distinct facial patterning, as the name would suggest, very peppered and speckled belly. I'm really looking forward to seeing what this penguin does over the next few days and months. Because of those unique markings, it's going to be really, really cool to watch it as it moves around the penguin colony here at Stony Point.
Guys, just watch what's happening. See, watch the elephants, watch the lions. See, the first ones to run are the cubs. Can you see them? They are right here. I'm not sure how scared you were, but I was quite nervous. But absolutely incredible.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
Funniest question I've been asked. There have been so many. You can almost do a little anecdote book just on guest questions. Sort of been asked, do you know which trees do elephants roost in? That's a tough question to answer with a straight face. Someone asked me if a windsock was for feeding giraffes.
I'm still appreciating my little herd of kudus up on quarantine. Not much has changed. There isn't any other life around us other than the normal insects, birds, plants, and these kudus. And I've just been admiring the smoothness of this young male's coat. He really is in excellent condition. You can imagine with all the rain we've had recently, there is so much browse available. And so these kudus are definitely not short of food at this point. And it really shows. Those stripes are so nice and white, very distinct. Coat is shiny and smooth, no bare patches, no dulling. Full regality at its finest in this young male. I can't wait to see what he would look like when he's older. Alice, kudus will eat mostly leaves, they're browsers. So any plants that have leaves are usually palatable for kudus. Even something like a mapani tree, which is not palatable to many animals, would be palatable to kudus. But things like grasses and flowers, they wouldn't be as inclined to eat unless they have to. If they're struggling for food sources, particularly in the winter, that is when you'll find them eating other types of plants. But for the majority of the year, they'll focus only on browsing, only on eating leaves. You can imagine it's a very big advantage, especially up on places like Quarantine, where you have elephants pushing over trees and things. It can actually help the kudus quite a lot. Because as the season wears on, those leaves become a very important food source. They never would have managed to reach a marula leaf or a marula fruit unless it fell on the floor or unless an elephant pushed them all down. So they have been very lucky. You can see there's one that's camouflaging very well into a termite mound. Excuse me, everybody. I'm sure that was very loud in your ears. I apologize. Elizabeth, you're most welcome. I'm glad that you could hop on board and join us and that you enjoyed it. I think we got very lucky this morning. I'm hoping this afternoon will be very similar. Maybe Jonty and BK are going to be our good luck charms for the next 2 weeks. But what a morning it has been. Starting very, very action-packed and ending lovely and tranquil. His coat is a completely different color to that female behind him. That's quite interesting. Although it's not actually his coat that's looking different, I think it's actually hers. She's got much more of a reddish tint, more similar to a Nyala. Possibly, though, it is still a young one, so maybe the colors are busy changing. Oh, I love the way a kudu walks. Even his beard is coming in nicely. He's going to be a very big male one day. I think it's been an absolutely brilliant morning so far. I don't think we actually could have asked for better. I'm very hesitant to say Jonty is a good luck charm. I'm going to say it's BK. I think BK is the better charm here. I can't give Jonty too much credit. But I'm looking forward to the adventures for the next 2 weeks and the new bird call challenges now that Jonty's involved as well. And I just want to say thank you to everybody for joining us this morning. We hope you had an absolute blast. We certainly did. And we'll be here this afternoon bringing you more magic. So please join us. We'll be looking forward to having you on board and hearing from you and sharing the magic